Hey everyone, LV here. As you can see from the title, today we're going to do another video today. It's not going to be like the regular reviews I usually do. It's going to be just another requested video, which is of my J-pop haul of stuff I've collected over the past few months. In my opinion, I don't think I've really collected all that much, but since you guys like when I post videos, I figured why not just share. So hopefully, based off this video, you guys will enjoy all the items that I will show you guys that I've collected over the past few months. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you guys is an item that I purchased from Koda Kumi, and is one of her remix albums, Driving Hits 3. This CD I guess isn't really all that special to most people. I was really happy when I found it at Book Off because this is the only remix album from her Driving Hits series that I really like. I mean, I'm not saying that her remix album Driving Hits is trash. It's just I'm not really a big fan of the series. This is just the only one in my opinion. Number 3 is the only one that I really like. So I was really happy when I found it there. This CD was around $22 and it was brand new, so I was really happy about that. Besides it being my favorite remix album, it's also my favorite in terms of art because I just love that. I don't know, I just really love that pose she's doing right there. Here's the front, of course, and here's the back. Sorry if you guys can't really see. Here's the inside. Here's the first picture promoting the series. Really pretty. And here's the final picture. That's a nice touch too, I really like that. Again, while most people won't really consider much of this CD, I thought it was a really solid buy. This is the best CD of her Driving Hit series because I think, in my opinion, the remixes are very well crafted and are very well produced, and I do listen to them a lot, so overall, it was a good buy. Okay, so the next thing I've purchased from Koda Kumi was, of course, a DVD, and the DVD was regarding one of her lives, of course, and it was of her Black Cherry tour, live in Tokyo Dome. Although I consider Trick to be one of my most favorite albums and one of my most favorite tours, I cannot deny the charisma of this tour. During the time when I was starting to get into Koda Kumi, this tour was one of the tours that helped me fall in love with her and helped me realize that she is the queen of live, because her tours are always fun and they always come to life to me, and I feel like this tour really does display that. I didn't get this from Book Off because, you guys, as you guys know, I don't really purchase used DVDs. I don't know why, I like getting the new thing. I got this from Amazon and I got it new, of course. So this one, how much was this? I don't remember, but I remember it being a little much, but it's fine, it was worth it. Here's the front. Really cute cover. And here's the back. Hopefully you guys can see that. Here's the inside. And I want to show you guys this. This is a very good way to highlight what the tour is all about. It's really nice. Hopefully you guys can see them. And then here's another one in the back. Again, really awesome display of what the tour consists of. And yeah, I will admit I am a bit biased when it comes to Koda Kumi's tours because she always delivers in her tours. But like I always say, please get this tour if you guys can. It's a really good tour and it really displays what Kuchan is all about. Okay, so the next CD I'm going to show you guys is of an artist who for a long time was really unfamiliar to me, but I did know who she was, and I reviewed a couple of her albums on my channel. So the first artist that I'm going to show you guys is of Shiina Ringo, and I managed to get her album Sanman Gashipu. Hopefully I said that correctly, but it translates into Superficial Gossip. I got this album at Book Off, of course. This was, I believe, $8 for this, and it was pretty new. I can't really say much about this album because I've really already reviewed this album, but I really enjoyed this album when I reviewed it, and I was really happy that I found it there. I'm talking a bit too much, so let's look inside. This is a slipcase, of course, and it shows the nakedness of the CD. Despite what people say, I like the naked theme it has to it because it really showcases what the album's all about. I won't really discuss too much of it because I've already reviewed this album. So if you guys really want to know what I have to say about this album, you guys can always check out the video I did on it. I'll show you guys some of the pictures though. This has to be one of my most favorite pictures. I love how she looks there. It's really cool. Obviously, I do consider this album to be a solid buy because I really did enjoy this album, especially when I was reviewing it, so I was really happy yet again when I found it there. And I do consider this something that I'll never get tired of, so. Okay, so the next CD that I purchased from Shiina Ringo was yet again an album that I've already reviewed. But like I always say, I was really happy that I found it there, and it's always something I can always add to my collection. It was of her CD, Karuki Samen Kuri no Hana. Again, I purchased the CD from Book Off, but unlike the first CD that I showed you guys from Shiina Ringo, this one was a bit more. This one I believe was around 15. Yeah, I believe $15 for this one here. This one is a little scratched up, but it's nothing that's I can't really handle. Let me show you guys the inside. So I don't really mind that because of the owner who had it before, they kept it in really good condition, so I don't really mind. Oh, and this is a sticker, by the way. I'll show you guys a bit of the pictures. And the one thing I really like about these pictures is, although they're not really much, I guess, in a westernized perspective, I really like the history that these pictures bring, because they again match with the theme of this album, which I really talked about when I reviewed this album. So if you guys want to know more about my opinion about this album, you guys can always go to my review on it. Although I do like this picture, I will say she does look a little weird here, but I guess that's what she was going for. Overall, I don't really regret buying this. While the CD does have a tiny bit of damage, I am still happy that I bought this because I generally enjoyed the music on this album, but I feel like with this album's more of an experimental touch, and I wouldn't recommend this album to anyone if you're first trying to get into Shiina Ringo. No, I would probably recommend this album in a sense, because this one is a bit more tamer than this one, but either way they're both really great, and I'm really happy that I bought them. So thanks a lot for the reviewers who made me get into her, because she's a really exceptional artist. So okay, so the next CD that I'm going to show you guys is from the artist Boa, because you guys know I'm always getting stuff from Boa, and it's of her CD Valenti. Although I don't really consider this CD much of a special buy because I do have this album. I just have it digitally. This is just the first time that I have it in a physical sense, because I don't know, when it comes to Boa, I don't know why, but I have all of her albums. It's just when it comes to her, I always have the digital format of her albums. Like, I never have like a physical copy of it. Over the past few months, I have been trying to get more physical stuff of her. This one again I purchased from Book Off. This was around $7 for this, and you can see it's a little used and scratched up, but it still plays and works really great, so I don't really mind that. And here's the inside of it. Oh, there's some pictures. Oh, sorry. Let's see some of the pictures. And although I do consider Boa to be a great artist, this has to be one of my most favorite albums from her, because this album, I don't know, it's just so genuine and so Boa back in the day. But I still love Boa either way, but this is just one of my favorite albums from her. And I love that picture. Like I said before, I don't really consider this CD to be much of a special buy. I'm only happy with this CD because I finally have a physical copy of it. You guys have no idea how many years I've listened to this album, but on a digital format. So that's what practically I care about here. Okay, so the next thing that I've collected from Boa was yet again a CD that I've long had on a digital format, but I finally managed to collect the physical copy of it, and it's of her album Love and Honesty. Like most of my CDs, I purchased this from Book Off. This was around $9 for this year. I think 9 or 10. It was one of those prices. And it's in pretty solid condition, so I thought that was a good deal for that. At least I thought so. Although I do have it on a digital copy, it doesn't really match, well, at least in my opinion, it doesn't match the satisfaction of having a physical copy of it, because I like collecting physical copies of CDs. And plus, the photo shoot for this album is very pretty. I'll show you guys some of the pictures. I don't really want to reveal much of it away because I do plan on reviewing this album. While I can't compare this album to the epicness of Valenti, I still consider this to be a really solid album from Boa and one of the best in her career. So I feel like if you are trying to get into Boa, I would recommend her first 3 albums. Like, the first 3 albums, in my opinion, do represent Boa in a really good light. So I do feel you would get something out of this if you buy it. So if you guys see this in a bookstore, hopefully you guys can get it because it's really good. Okay, so the next CD I'm going to show you guys is again an item that I've collected from Book Off, and it is of the artist Onitsuka Chihiro, and it is of her debut album, Insomnia. I will admit I don't really follow this artist, but I will admit that I thoroughly enjoyed this album when I reviewed this album because it really did display a really good side of her. Well, a dark side, but I thought it was a really fascinating side to explore. I'll show you guys some of the insides. It's really pretty. Well, at least I think so. A very simple beauty for it. Since I've reviewed this album already, I guess showing some pictures wouldn't hurt. And although I do like the simpleness of this photo shoot, I will say this girl loves her Coke. Because in every freaking picture, well not every picture, but in most of her pictures, I see that Coke. So that girl just must love her Coke, man. And here's the final photo. Well, technically this is the final photos, really. But again, a pretty simple yet beautiful photo shoot. Like I said before, I don't really follow much of this artist, but this was an album that did display Onitsuka Chihiro beautifully, so I will be listening to this album for a pretty long time. I've collected another CD from Onitsuka Chihiro, and it is of her second album, This Armor. I will admit I haven't listened to this yet, so I don't know how any of these tracks sound, but I bought this album mainly because I really loved her first album, so I figured why not just buy the second album, because I'll probably be swept by it too. I'll show you guys a bit of the inside of it. It's really pretty so far from the pictures I've seen. Oh, it's upside down. Sorry. Here you go. I will do an album review on this album soon because I'm really entranced by her voice, and she seems to bring like this very sorrowful, is that a word? She seems to really bring this satiny approach, and I've heard snippets of this album and it seems like it does carry the same traits that her debut album did, so I'm going to do an album review on this soon, so I promise you guys that. I managed to get another CD from Amuro Namie, and I managed to get one of her best albums, Best Fiction. I will admit I'm not really too psyched about this album because I pretty much have most of these tracks on the other albums that I have from her, but I was still pretty excited about this album because this album I have the CD DVD version of it, and this one I got, it was in pretty good condition, and this one was around $12 for this, so I was really happy with the condition of it, and it has most of the videos of the other CDs, so that's one reason why I was really happy about this album, even though I'm not too psyched about it in terms of music sense, if that makes any sense to you guys. And another thing I liked about this album was of the visual art here, even though there's not really much pictures, but the pictures that Namie does display are very beautiful, even though they're really unrealistic. But I guess it goes with the theme of this album since it's called Best Fiction, so I'll show you guys some of the pictures, starting with this one. I think this is the only picture for this album, but it's a really solid picture, so I can't knock down Namie for that. There's a lot of things I want to say about this album, but for now I'll temporarily withhold my opinions because it's not best to reveal everything right away before I've done a review on it. But I promise Namie Amuro fans that I will review this album, or best album, soon, so I promise you guys that. Okay, so the next CD I managed to get from Amuro Namie was of her album, Break the Rules. This is the only album from her olden era that I generally liked. Oh no, I guess that's a bit mean to say, but I guess her first 3 albums didn't really click to me. I mean, I can't really, you know what, no, I can't say that. I like them, it's just, they weren't really like clicking, like clicking. Sorry about that mumbo jumbo right there, but I guess I was trying to say is, although I do like her first 3 albums, there's something about them that I can't really like grasp. Like, it's just, there's something that's holding me back. However, with this album, although it does contain an old touch, it does have something about it that I can come back to and that I can listen to over and over again. So this was one of the reasons why I bought this album. I didn't get this album from Book Off. I got this album from Amazon. I got this used, and I was surprised how new it is. I will admit, I think I got this $5 for this here. Here's some of the pictures. Again, I don't really want to reveal too much because, again, I'm going to review this album anyway, but I guess it's okay to show some, so. Another thing I was really surprised about this album is it came with a photo book regarding this era. So here's the first picture, and I know this one was from the Think of Me era. Yes, I said I wouldn't show that much pictures, but a tease is okay, you know. Really pretty photo shoot. But I'll show you guys more of it when I review this album. Again, this was another solid buy from Amuro-chan, and this is something that I will look forward to when it's time to review it, so Okay, so the next CD I managed to get from Book Off was a CD that I was really happy that I found. I literally squealed when I first saw this album, and it's, of course, by Hamasaki Ayumi. Cyber Trance presents IU Trance. In my opinion, this has to be one of IU's best trance albums. Like, literally everything about it just screams beauty. And the remixes, they have this certain quality about them that a lot of her remix albums don't really have today, even though I still really do like them. But this is one of her best. Again, this was another CD that I purchased from Book Off. This CD was around $12, and it came in pretty good condition. Of course, this is a slipcase, and here's the same cover. Here's the back. To be honest with you guys, I've had this CD for a while. I guess I've never shown it to you guys up until now. But I am planning on reviewing this album because this is a really good solid album from her. And I'm happy that I managed to find the physical copy of this album because I think I've said this before in a previous J-pop haul. I don't really have a lot from IU when it comes to her remix albums. But you know what? That's not true. Every album from IU I have. Like, I'm very serious. I have every album from IU. But when it comes to her remix albums, I just have the digital copy of them. I don't have that much physical copies from her when it comes to the remix department. So I was really happy that I found this there because this is one of my favorite remix albums from her. So eventually I will probably collect all of her remix albums, but I'm just happy I managed to get my most favorite one first. Again, in that sense, it's a really solid buy and I don't regret buying it. Okay, so the final CD I'm going to show you guys is from the artist Otsuka Ai, and it's of her CD, Love Cook. While I haven't posted a review of her CD, Love Jam, I will say I really did enjoy Love Jam. Like all of my CDs, I purchased this from Book Off. This CD was around $9, and it's of just the regular CD, but it comes with a lot of stuff. And this is the slipcase, of course. It comes with a photo album, and this is the actual CD. The exterior of the CD is really scratched up, but I don't really mind that because the CD is great, so that's one thing I don't really mind from this. I will admit I haven't listened to this album yet, but I do have great confidence in this album considering I really loved her album Love Jam, so probably the review I'll post will most likely be a positive review. Well, hopefully. This is the photo book that I managed to get for that album. It came in really good condition. I'll show you guys some of the pictures. Hopefully you guys can see them. They're really cute shots of her. I really like them. Obviously, I can't show you every photo, but I promise when I review this album, I will examine every nook and cranny about it, so don't you guys worry about that. So that was my J-pop haul. I will admit I do have a lot more things to show you guys. I have a lot more to show you. But right now I'm just gonna decide not to push all that on you guys because I do feel in a way that's rather suffocating. So maybe next time I'll manage to show you guys my part 2. Again, I would like to thank you guys for watching my video as always. I do know I ramble sometimes when it comes to my videos. It's like a nervous trait of mine. I can't help it. But I am rather appreciative that you guys managed to watch my videos, and hopefully from this video you got some entertainment out of it. So I can't say when my next video will be here, but I know it's gonna come real soon, so hopefully you guys will wait until then. So until next time, bye.